My name is Wesley, and this is why we should destigmatize trap rap.
My name is Fred, and this is why we should destigmatize trap rap. I think the biggest reason I enjoy trap rap is for me, to be able to enjoy, I need to be authentic. So when I can kind of feel your authenticity coming through your music, I can immediately enjoy what you're getting across. I feel like trap rap is one lane where you'll feel authentic more than not. So it's an easier listen for me most of the time.
Yeah, so for me, it's a different perspective all the way around. You know, for somebody who doesn't necessarily associate my life and my circumstances and upbringing with trap rap, it gives me an insight into what it is like for someone else who really does live that lifestyle, who's had experience dealing with the things that are then discussed in trap music. And so I think, you know, hip hop is a big part of that. Hip hop is taking different perspectives, different sounds, different ways of life, right? That then become an open diary for your ears about somebody else's experience in America that happens to look like me. I'm definitely with Fred on the fact that if it's authentic, I definitely feel it more. Like if you was really in the trenches, yeah. I liked it.
So with the Lil Baby joint, I was more or less blown away because at that time, we already had established artists who we were expecting to hear from. And to hear from Lil Baby first kind of took me back like, damn, I didn't think Lil Baby was gonna be the first one to mention this. So immediately I was like, oh, he good in my book because, you know, he took a step that people didn't expect him to take. The content of it, I'm not sure if he caught too much backlash for it, but he definitely was on some, you know, all cops aren't bad. I thought he might have caught some heat for that, but he did it so well that I don't think he ever really caught any negativity from it. But I feel like everything he said was 100% straight up. It was his perspective and he put it out there first. Like, we was expecting Kendrick, but it was Lil Baby to the rescue.
For sure. Kendrick already gave you an album on that, but I feel you. I just don't respect him.
Kendrick's my dog.
He's paid his dues.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? 2016, Spirit Butterfly, I ain't spent it, but it's fire.
It took you a while to realize that though, because you also were calling for Kendrick and J. Cole. And they didn't.
You got maybe I was.
Yeah.
But I want to add to what Deuce was talking about as far as Lil Baby. The track is extremely intelligent. So the fact that he knew he had a platform, right? He wanted to address how he was feeling about a particular time in America, the latest racial awakening, you know, for society and our citizens is a big deal. I think it was received well. He performed at the Grammys. You know what I mean? The message was clear, it was cut, it was concise, it was simple to understand. It was more so about unification, more so than anything else. One thing about trap rap and how sometimes it becomes something that can become a gimmick for our white brothers and sisters, that's when it kind of feels icky. You know what I mean? Like maybe sometimes the perspective of a Lil Baby or a perspective of, you know what I'm saying, a Pooh Shiesty, or the list goes on, when it then becomes like a jeweler, you know, a piece of cool jewelry for someone who doesn't have that experience, or, you know, someone who's kind of playing around with it or making fun of it, or, you know, criminalizing the way to their families and friends in some sort of weird, sick joke. That's when I think it can be problematic in a sense. But I'm super proud of Lil Baby for what he did, and I'm super proud of him continuing to come back and say, hey, there's a bigger picture here, and, you know, letting the world know about some of the atrocities that happen to black bodies here in the United States of America. Not just like when I say black bodies, but
it's terminology. But for me, that's why I think the authentic part is so important, because it is a lane that can be twisted so easily. So like, I'm not one to feel like if you ain't really lived or experienced this, like you probably shouldn't be in this lane, because it's so easily manipulated. Like if it's a guy like, you know, I go back, I'm older apparently now, because these young niggas, they not the same for me. But like T.I., I'm never gonna question T.I., early T.I., urban legend, you know, so all that kind of, like, that's what he was doing, what he did. But they could have easily took him and said, look, all guys are thugs, they sell drugs on the block. But if they did that, that's one thing, that's fine, but you can't deny his story. If it's a guy that you've created and you've planted him into the industry, and he's talking all this stuff, and he has no background at all, he's nothing but a negative at that point. Tekashi 6ix9ine did nothing for us.
Yeah.
So it can turn the genre wrong real fast. That's the gift and the curse of trap rap. It so easily be flips like extra rap. Like, it sounds good, it's great. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna believe it. It's easy to get along with, but it's so easily flipped on us that you always gotta be careful with it somehow.
People come in and steal it.
think the positive impact of trap rap on hip hop is always, for me, it's the growth of the artist. Because trap rap there's a time capsule.
Mm-hmm.
You can only be a trap rapper for so long, because after a while you've made it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're not doing it anymore.
So we always want to see our trap rappers kind of like grow. Like, we love 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz came in, was one guy. 2 Chainz today is a completely different guy.
Businessman, got multiple TV shows, multiple streams of income.
Can he get back in the bag if he needs to? Sure. But we've seen him develop into something else. So I think that's the positive of it. Like, yes, you're displaying your stories. Like, yes, you're kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's an open diary. But the whole point of you doing that is to do something better.
Yeah. For me, I think the biggest lesson is that this is somebody's real experience. So as they talk about traumatic experiences, they talk about, their friends and family dying, or their friends and family being involved with drug use, etc. That's truly a cry for help for our community. So it's smart because it gives you another insight, another piece of evidence, right, that we can put into a book, we can put into a documentary, if you would, that y'all making now, of letting people know there are people in America that are really experiencing atrocity. So much of it's now being poured into their creativity. You know what I'm saying? That's the real sick and sadness involved with trap rap. And that's where hopefully people hear and they say, okay, what can we do to better these communities? What can we do to stop this individual for having to make music as such? Even though we love it, sometimes to cry for help. I just think about the Voice of Heroes this weekend that came out with Lil Baby and Lil Durk. And it's like the third track, I think it's called Still Hood. Lil Durk is giving you some real invasive bars about his family and his upbringing, how messed up it was. It's to the point where it's like, dang, this thing is sad, man. It's
so crazy because there's so many trap artists where like you can literally believe that they rather rap about something else, but they can't get out of the story of what they've been through. I would love to hear the Polo G club track, but Polo G got to tell you about this shit.
Right, about this bad
stuff. And he grew up listening to that. He can't get away from it. These niggas, they struggle with it, so it's hard to see it. But like you said, it's just so invasive. Like, they cannot, I think some of these dudes really cannot make you a love song that ain't got nothing to do with
because they really are
something crazy.
They really dealing with pain. But I think that is the piece. That's the piece that should be taken with a lot more a serious tone, if you will. Like, really taking that and trying to figure out, okay, how can we help these young guys, these young women? You know what I mean? How can we stop this from happening to somebody else in their life and their family? Yeah.
Damn, the female trap wave is coming in.
It is.
Yeah.
Boys going through it, man.
That's gonna be a whole
being black in America is a problem. It's a problem. We can't stop talking about the problem. And we love it when we hear it.
Got a nice beat.
9 years old, see the dude get shot. Damn. You're like, he's traumatized. You know what I mean? I've never seen that, but that's like, we all know the bar. That is a crazy thing. 9 years old, see the dude get shot. Damn.
Next bar.
Yeah, that's it.
In the club.
We all singing that. It's ringing off, going crazy. That's not okay when he's talking about what he's going through. And then we worried about, like, you got Moneybagg Yo's got that track on there about lean on his new project and how he's so in love with that. Because it's a coping mechanism for him. You know what I mean? You got Lil Durk talking about popping pills because he can't face his demons on a daily basis. Because all his friends, they dead and gone. So this is how I'm coping, this is how I'm figuring it out.
It's really inescapable too, it's so crazy. So like back at the crib on the radio, in between songs, it's like, all right, put the guns down, Chicago. And like, all right, next up, Get It Back in Blood, Lil Durk, what's going on? I'm like, God damn, like we really can't escape it. You can say, like, you got a problem, but like, unfortunately, the music will continue to reflect the problem.
Tell the truth about your game.
They really dying. Like, this death is all around Durk right now. I think he had a brother just passed. Like,
brother just passed this, I guess last night.
Well, I don't know if you got a question about it. I don't think so, but like the responsibility of the stuff in that regard, because like we want to ultimately fix what they're rapping about.
Yeah.
But we also love how glamorized what they're rapping about is. So like it's like a dog chasing his tail down there.
It's a result of systemic issues. Period, point blank. That's what we're dealing here with trap music. It's fire, but it's a result of a bigger evil, for sure. And they try to get mad at us. You know what I mean? We was at KOK last night. They won't play anything like that.
Nah.
I was calling it like, I was calling it Negro repellent. The music they were playing. But it ain't even the most popular music. Y'all playing stuff that people don't even listen to. white people listen to this music. But y'all are so anti-us to a certain extent that you only give, like they give us Kanye graduation songs, which is their pop music. It's fire pop music.
Power. Stronger.
Yeah. Oh, strong. Nah, they love that. You know, they play Homecoming, Chris Martin on there, so it's cool. But they'll never play Pooh Shiesty. They'll never, you know what I'm saying? Even though they love it, even though their kids listen to it, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's a big part of American culture, you know what I mean? Or they get mad at us for it, they don't accept it. But this is somebody's whole reality. You know, but you mad about what he's saying. That's his lifestyle. That's what he's giving you. You know,
you don't like rapping right now.
You gonna criminalize him for it.
You're lucky doing this right now.
You know?
Could have saw you in a whole different way.
For sure, which is crazy to me, and it's so backwards. But I feel like the world is so sometimes just so anti-us, it makes no sense. They was playing country music. I'm like, this is insane. And instead of embracing the culture, that also then feeds their pockets because we spend a lot of money, a lot of bread in KOK. They're so anti, so scared of it. Even though you created a monster.
It's $1 million question.
I'm hopeful.
Based off, I'm a little more skeptical.
But representation is key. You know, so being able to have educators that look like me and you know, being able to place them in positions to talk to the youth, to encourage the youth, to mentor the youth is a part of it. You got people like Murdoch, you got people like other people in the city of Indianapolis that are then going back and trying to figure out different resources and ways that helping better communities is always an important part of it. You know, I think Kelly was just in here last week, you know, trying to figure out different ways to pour money back into our communities, to continue to put money into Black folks' hands and let them do what they do with it, and trust them there with that bread and building businesses and things like that can ultimately maybe better particular situations. But we are still fighting a systemic evil that, you know, controls and has so much of an impact on our day-to-day life. It is honestly despicable, you know, what people are going through or dealing with to that standpoint. So as much as I'm hopeful, as much as things are changing, you know, like Fred is saying, you know, can we escape it? Is this ultimately our fate? I don't know, but you just hope that things at some point will get better, man. People gonna pay what they owe.
Yeah, there's people who are skeptical and feels like the money's not gonna solve it, but I'm for sure willing to try. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's at least see if it's not gonna work. Give it a shot. So I feel like that's the one thing our generation seems more keen on doing is trying to figure out how we can pour funds back into it.
Yeah.
So,
but trap music is not negative, and it's an extension of somebody's experience, and it should be valued as such. It's high class art, honestly. For you to be able to make a song, everybody feel it. You know, Get Back in Blood is the biggest song in the nation, one of them. But there are some people that really had to get it back in blood.
And are getting it back in blood right now.
I am not one of them, but Pooh Shiesty is giving you a real experience in America. That's why NWA was so powerful. Because they was really giving you insight to some of the worst places to live life on planet Earth.
I can't think of the term for it, but it's something like, it's almost like an infinity stone down there. Like, yeah, it's got a lot of power to do good in the right hands, but it also has a lot of power to do bad in the wrong hands. So we gotta continue to kind of hold it like, all right, make sure we're carrying this right, because they can take it in a heartbeat and turn it into something, which I already do. Like Fox News loves trap music because they can play it and say, this is what they do, this is what they do in the streets, they're all bad. They're all
but why?
So just I feel like trap music is precious in that way.
You gotta ask why more too. Why? Why is that so popular?
They know why.
Why is that so popular in those communities? Why? Why is the new like? Why is it like that? And I want to give credit to G Herbo, Lil Herb. You know, G Herbo has used this platform to talk about mental health and awareness and PTSD. It's a song called PTSD. We're using that song to then talk about the mental stability of these individuals living in these communities. So you're always going to find people that say, okay, taking that next step, so do say in their growth and development as people, to then figure out a way to kind of stop and figure out a way to kind of, you know, give some sort of peace and some sort of solution to what's going on as well. And that's all from artistry.
Yeah, Herbo was the first from that fleet of dudes that came out, just like prepare and take that next step.
Yeah.
Because he'll still get it back in blood, but he's gonna need to talk to somebody about it afterwards.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? You can sit down and
talk to somebody, go see a
work through
therapist
those problems afterwards.
for my issues. But all this is documentation. Everything I do is living history. You know what I'm saying? So even, you know, we got a little situation I'm gonna mention on here. We got a little side project that we do. It's living history. These are real voices from black men. They're giving you their perspective on society. Living history, right? You sit in United States history classes. You sit in social studies classrooms. This is what they give you. You know, this is words, stories, experiences, narratives about what's really going on in the world. You know, so it's real life, and it should be taken as such. It's not stupid.
If it ain't, stop.
For sure.
If it's not real life, cut that shit out.
Right. And I still like conscious rap too. I love the lyrics. I always have been, but we can't discredit trap rappers and say that it's not good. You know, because it's somebody's art, somebody's experience.